Hello again, Todd Clemens, Okeechobee Livestock Market, and here's your weekly market report. We had a good run of cattle this week. First time numbers really did show up, close to 900 on Monday and 12 something on Tuesday for a little over 2,000 head for the week. Compared to last year, that was more cattle we sold than last year, but we're still behind for the year. Prices, pasture conditions are good, things like that are affecting the cattle not coming to town, but with all the rain and the skeeters hatching and things like that going on, we're going to start seeing some runs of cattle here now. But and the feeder calves keep holding up, even in spite of what's going on across the nation. The packers, the fat cattle prices are really creeping back down to levels that look more realistic. Those token bids that have been passing out by the packers aren't there anymore, and they're trading cattle now today probably for around $1, maybe $1.02, and that's kind of what everybody thought it was going to come back down. The box beef prices have come off that historical high of $4.77 all the way back down to, I think, around $2.15, $2.20. Some people say it's going to go all the way back down to $2, maybe even below $2. But with all this backlog of cattle that we've got to work through, 700,000 or 800,000 head of cattle that are backlogged, it's going to take a lower price at the retail level to move this meat. We haven't seen a lot of beef being promoted at the stores. Pork seems to be moving a lot better than beef is right now, but the prices are coming down. And over the summer grilling time, people will be eating more beef, hopefully, and we've got a lot of beef to move, and it's going to take a lower price to get that done. The futures just barely hanging on. June is somewhere around 96, 97 cents, and cash trade, like I said, is maybe $1, $2, or $3. So cash is still higher than the futures. And people ask, well, how do these things like this mandatory country of origin labeling, the 5014 rule that's brought out by Grassley, how do these things that's going on across the nation, how's this going to affect the prices of my calves here through the ring at Okeechobee? Well, I talked to buyers, and the only way these guys are buying these calves is they're looking to hedge these cattle that they're buying today against the futures prices. And if the prices are lower in the futures market, well, then they're just going to back off what they're paying for our calves. So it's directly related. And we keep saying that the more price discovery is going to paint a clearer picture about what something's worth. Trade more cattle, price, and then you're going to have more numbers, and it's going to help at least define what something's worth. And so by having more cattle bought cash, it's going to hopefully increase competition. It's just like you got 4 guys killing 80% of the cattle. What if we had 6 or 7 or 8 guys buying 80% or killing 80% of the cattle across the country? Well, that's more competition. And there's some people actually in the Midwest that are putting money into some new plants, new processing plants, which, man, if we can get that going and get some pressure on these big 4 guys and spread that kill out around a little bit more distribution-wise, then it's going to help us, and it's going to come back to the cow-calf producer. So the higher the futures is, if the board's trading higher and the cattle are worth more money, then buyers will pay more money for cattle because they can hedge those cattle, hedge a profit into them at a higher level, and that all relates back to local prices. So definitely these things affect us, and we need to keep talking about what can we do to help the cow-calf producer and help these prices. Well, it's demand and supply, plain and simple, and there's a lot of supply out there right now. All these cattle that are backlogged, we've got to work through them. We've got to get more current, and then you'll see things level off and the market stabilize, and prices are where people can figure out what's going on. It's just been really crazy. But we had some really good calves here this week at Okeechobee Livestock Market. We've got Okie Vac program, And these guys that are in this Okeechobee program are doing things, the extra things, to put themselves in a position to get the best prices possible for their calves. And I just want to throw a shout out to Okeechobee Livestock, Butler's Bluff, and Will Butler, and Four Winds Ranch this week had some exceptional calves. Of course, all of the bull calves are castrated. They're steers, number one. Number two, they're on a very good vaccination program. Number three, they're wearing a tag in their ear that says they are Okeechobee, and these producers have gone the extra mile. They've signed an affidavit stating that these protocols have been met, and guess what? Buyers pay attention. We lump those calves together in about 2 o'clock, which is a great time, and we can reserve you a lot number if you want to get on the Okeechobee program. So when prices are suppressed, the more you can do to position yourself, it's going to pay off. We had probably steady prices. I think looked like to me the calves might have been a little bit higher, which is hard, kind of hard to understand how these calves are holding up so good with so much pressure on the feeder calf market. We know we've got these huge numbers that we've got to work through. There's going to be a lot of cattle, more cattle going into the feedlots. They're already kind of stacked up out there now, and it's amazing that these prices are holding up as good as they are. I think when you get into your summer months, there's going to be, when these runs start picking up and there's a lot of calves coming to town, the supply increases, and you're going to see that the prices are going to dictate and show you that the supply is there, and these buyers can pick and choose. They can pick and choose what they're buying. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way things are, and slaughter cows and bulls sure are selling good, and hamburger seems to be what everybody's wanting because of the price of meat now. But cows are still bringing in the 70s on the top end, and the bulls are bringing up there around $1 on those front end cattle. So pretty good report this week. And just to tell you what the high prices were, on the calf side, Peace Valley Ranch, Mr. Johnny Platt from Zoffo Springs topped the calf market. He had a 185-pound calf bringing $2.35, bought by Cracker Land and Cattle. And the high cow price was Sacramento Farms, Okeechobee. A big old 1,400-pound cow brought $78.50. That's your market report.